This next demo is on how to make the kerfing that runs around the inside here. You can see we've got a line of it right around the bottom, and we've also got some around the top here. The whole purpose of that is to increase our gluing area when we glue our top and our back on there. So we need to be able to slot it. You can see on here that it has one edge rounded over. It's not just square here. We've got one edge rounded over, so that's the first thing we're going to do. Over to the sander. So what we're going to do, we need to round over one edge. It doesn't matter which edge you grab because we can rotate this however we like afterwards, but we just need to round over one edge with sandpaper to make life really, really easy. If you just knock it off at 45 degrees on the disc sander really quick, then it makes it a lot easier just to round that over. So here we go. Stick your fingers on the end, hang on to it tight, watch your fingers on here because they're going to get relatively close. We're going to run it through like so. Just like that. So we've now put a nice 45-degree bevel on there. What we're going to do now, get some 80 grit and a sanding block, and we're going to round this over. All right. Please don't stand there and do it like this, you'll be there all day. Rest it down on the table. You've got control of the end here, you can roll it around, but having the table underneath it lets you push down nice and firmly on here. So it shouldn't take you very long. Try and keep it nice and even all the way along. Flip it around. Just like that. Right, I don't know if you can see the end of that. It's just one edge, the nice radius all the way down. All right. This is our ukulele kerfing jig. You'll notice it has a little slot on here. That needs to come and go behind the blade, and the blade needs to sit down in there. Before I talk about that, there is two pictures on here, drawn by myself. They're quite beautiful. You'll notice they show how, or what the orientation is of your piece of kerfing and how it needs to line up. This kerfing is 6mm by 8mm. It needs to stand up, as in the 8mm side needs to stand up, and the curve on the top needs to face you, as shown in the two pictures here. So if you turn it around that way, the curve is still facing you, but it's laying down, and you're going to have to redo it. So it must go this way. If you're not sure, have a look at the two pictures on the end there. So we put this in behind, try and center the slot on the back of the blade so that it's not touching either side of the blade, and I don't know, you leave it maybe 5mm or so there, and try and get it nice and square that way. You're going to use a couple of these clamps. The bottom of this table is hollow up, and it goes right back in underneath, so we can only clamp on this edge. So we drop one clamp on there, one clamp on this edge there, and that's ready to go. We've got our safety glasses on, and we're going to take our work. Which way does it go? Standing up. Brilliant. Cut some little slots out here. That's for your fingers, which means that your fingers shouldn't go here. It's getting a little bit too close to the blade. Okay. If you come around this way, on this side, you can see two lines. There's one line just here and one line on the other side. You probably won't need this one on the right hand side, but the one on the left you definitely will. Once we make a cut, you then remove your work from there, move it across until your cut mark lines up with that little line. Then you make another cut, pull it out, move it across till it lines up with the line again, and make another one. We're just going to test now to see how deep the blade is set. To do that, you just make 3 cuts and check it. Now that's not too bad, it could probably go just a fraction more. So in order to do that, I'll get my special custom adjuster, and we need to move this fence back just a little bit, which will let the blade come out a little bit further. So we just give that a little tap. Just go back and do those 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Alright, that's quite loose now. I'll do another couple that may be too loose. That's very loose. Bring it back just a fraction. And then that should be right. So now we can work the way all the way through. Keep on lining it up with the one that we've just brought out. Keeping your fingers well out of the way. It should be relatively flexible. If you leave it too thick, it's quite difficult to get it to bend around the inside of your work. Okay? So you work your way right the way through and then swap your hands and bring the last little bit. It doesn't matter if it happens to break. We can still glue the pieces in, it doesn't matter. Okay? And we just work our way all the way along each of these.